is Brianne Theisen-Eaton. So Brianne, if I may, just a quick intro into who you are, where you're from.
I think so.
Okay, perfect. Came from a very large town in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Canada. Just over 5,000 people live there?
Yep. Like 5 traffic lights, I think, in the whole city.
And as a senior in high school, she won gold in the 2000 Pan American Games as a junior in the heptathlon, and went on to compete at, as many as you know, the track and field powerhouse of University of Oregon, where she won 7 NCAA national championships and set the pentathlon NCAA record, along with also winning 4 coaches National Athlete of the Year honors. And just a couple weeks ago in Portland, Oregon, won the gold medal at the IAAF World Indoor Pentathlon Championships. So I want to start with something personal to you and Ashton. You guys recently just launched a website called weareeaton.com. And you guys are asking people to share their personal goal with hashtag what's your goal. And I find that really interesting because a lot of athletes they want to tell their own story. They want to share their story, but you guys are asking for people to share what's important to them and sort of have this great reciprocal journey. As you guys are sharing yours, you're learning from them as well. Can you share with everybody kind of the impetus of where that came about and how that's going?
Ash and I, after doing 2012, the Olympic Games, we kind of started to understand track and field in North America. And we realized it's not football and it's not basketball, and only a small percentage of people really care about it. And the Olympics, yes, everyone starts paying attention during the Olympic Games, but going into this season, we thought, okay, what can we do to tell our own story or make an impact so that we can do it in the way we want to do it and not have to rely on the media to do it? So we came up with the idea of just in today's world using social media and a website to be able to do that, where we create our own content, we make our own videos, and the one thing we kept getting stuck on was, okay, yeah, it's cool to tell people about us and what we do, but like, how does that help people, or why should people care, or how is this making an impact? Like, I think when you're constantly talking about yourself, it just doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel like people are getting anything out of it. Like Ashton was saying, talking to all of you guys here before we started all this question and answer, Ashton was like, I just find it really interesting just asking people what they do, but they just want to know what I do, and I just think that's boring, you know? So it's like, that's kind of how we feel about like telling our own story. So we came up with the idea of trying to use our story to inspire people to go after something that they want to do, and to invite them on the journey and share with us their journey, and to show them that trying to achieve something, and it doesn't have to be athletic, it can be anything in life, has ups and downs, and that we aren't perfect, and that we struggle, and that we have breakthroughs, and to motivate them to keep going during the tough times of whatever they're trying to do. So that's how the What's Your Gold campaign also started.
That's great. I read that you won your first race in Humboldt growing up?
Was it the cross-country race?
Maybe.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Now, so at that time, I'm not sure if you knew what being competitive was then, but I guess in terms of defining being competitive or competition, from that first race, which maybe you just stumbled upon winning and say, oh gosh, maybe I'm kind of good. How do you see competition and being competitive now?
It's changed a lot, because when I was 3, I had to win everything, and I didn't know how to be a graceful loser. Like, I was the kid who stomped off in the corner and wanted nothing to do with whoever beat me. So like, my parents were trying to teach me that when I was younger. And now it's become, I think maybe it's a little bit about the multi-events just being this event where it's kind of all about yourself. You know, it's like being better than yourself, not caring about your competitors, because there's so many events that can go wrong or go well for everybody. So I think for me, competition has become more of a personal thing and not so much about my competitors.
There was another thing that you were quoted in talking about, that it's not the person who necessarily wants it the most in your evolution from some of your first international competitions to where you are now, but the person who actually executes. I'm a huge Golden State Warriors fan, so sorry for those of you who are Lakers or Clippers fans. But Steph Curry, of course, came to mind in regards to his practice and executing on game day. What does execution mean to you in practice and now in competition? How has that evolution taken place from your early international competitions?
This is a lesson I had to learn the hard way, and I think every athlete probably goes through it at some point, but you train and you train and you train, and you think, okay, I'm putting all this effort into it, and I really love this sport, and I'm really passionate about it, and I really, really, really want to win a gold medal. And that's not going to get you a gold medal. Like, and I've been working quite a bit with a sports psychologist who's had to teach me this, and she said, it's not, you can want the crap out of something, but that's not going to get you the gold medal. You know, you have to earn it. That's why there is the Olympic Games, because the person who's favored to win or who has the highest score that year isn't necessarily the person who wins. It's the person who's healthy, who's physically fit, and who's mentally prepared to be able to focus and execute for those 2 days. And in Beijing last year is where I learned it the hard way. I was in the best shape of my life, and I just totally fell apart. I wanted it so bad, and I just kept thinking I want it, and it just, I basically fell apart in the second event, and that has taught me quite a bit. And now execution is about knowing what focus is for me and being able to stay in that focus for all seven events. And it's almost like you have to get everything else out of your mind. Like, you can't be thinking about a gold medal. You can't be thinking about I need to run a certain time, or I want to jump this far. It's like not even think about that, pushing all that out and just relaxing and being in the moment and just letting yourself, we train so much, you know how to do the event. You just have to be able to relax and let yourself do it. So it's about learning how to do that.
What's your earliest memory of competition growing up in Canada? Do you have that? Was it the cross-country race, or I also heard you played some t-ball?
Oh, yeah. Well, the t-ball wasn't competitive at all. I was digging with a stick in ant holes in the outfield. I think the cross-country race is a pretty good one. In 6th grade was the first year that you could really do any school sports where I was growing up, and they asked me, because they didn't have enough people on the cross-country team, will you come and do the cross-country? And it was I think at that time a 3K run or something. So I was sure, but I'm not coming to any practices. If you need me to run, I'll run, but I'll show up that day. And they're okay, no problem. So I show up that day, and I'd never done track, so I didn't know, but I had no idea what I was doing. I got on the start line, they shot the starting gun, and I took off, sprinting. I sprinted for probably 300 meters, and then I'd stop and bend over and rest and check where everyone else was. And as soon as someone came up on my butt, I'd take off again. And I did this for 3K, literally interval. And I remember coming home, I could see the finish line. There was another girl. We were looking at each other. It was a gravel road. And I was this girl's not beating me. I had bloody throat. I was so tired. I crossed the finish line in first place, and I'm just exhausted. And we were running through the trees, but people could see. And I was so happy I won. My dad came over, and I was I'm never doing that again. And he was I think you're more of a sprinter. I'm pretty sure you're not a distance runner. That was the competitiveness, but it was awful.
So I'll end with, and actually both of you will get some type of question related to this, but I know you and Ashton met at U of O on a recruiting visit first, correct? But then, quote unquote, maybe fell in love in Brazil at the Pan American Junior Games. And you're now headed back to Rio. What is that like to not only both of you winning the gold medal indoors just a few weeks ago in Portland, but sort of taking not only the track and field relationship, but of course the now marriage relationship full circle and going right back to Brazil. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to the both of you?
I think it's interesting, and I don't think any of us would have ever imagined it would happen like this, but it's kind of ironic, I guess. I think we've been asked before when we'll retire, if one of us will retire before the other one, and I think we were asked that question like maybe a month ago, and we had never thought about that before, but both of us were right away like, no, we have to retire together. Like, there's no way one of us could do track without the other one. Like, I don't think we would know how to do it. It's just our whole life, you know, like when we come home, we have a routine and we do this because it helps track, and we eat this because it helps track, and like, it would be so weird. So that's just an example of like, trying to give you an example of how much a part of this we are together. Like, we literally, I wouldn't know how to go to practice without Ashton, and I wouldn't know how to compete without Ashton. Like, it's very interesting. So to start together in Brazil, like that's kind of where we were both, I think, cheering for each other there because we knew one another, and then to finish in Brazil, like no matter what happens, if we win gold or don't medal at all, I think it's a cool story, and like you said, like a full complete circle, which is meaningful for us.
Well, if the 2024 Olympics go to Los Angeles, you still have at least 8 years of competition, so we can watch you guys. Well, thank you very much, Brianne. Appreciate it.